Okay, I don't know if mine is super controversial, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I think this is the worst iteration of G2 they've ever had since they joined the LEC. It's also my personal least favorite one. I just think like
Cool.
the magic isn't there. You don't see it. Like I don't even know if it's a slump anymore. I just think it's not working, and I'm not a fan. I don't see it.
Okay. By the way, here's a joke, because I want you to expand on that more. But here's, you know, like when a director in Hollywood gives the actor like their motivation, like, hey, you're supposed to be like a cop who lost his child, like, you know, think about what your wife will be going through. What I want you to do, right, is then think of this. You have to imagine right now that we don't know this yet, Rajcula, but actually G2 wins this split, and when they win this split, they actually look amazing, and there's all magic in how they fight and the way. And so what you have to understand is this is now being featured. You're about to be featured in the little clip that the shitty social media guy makes, and he puts that little, like, you know, fucking blooper reel together where it's me going like, and Caps isn't even having a good year this year, and we know it's all our clips, and like, you have to act as though that's what you're doing right now, because here's the thing, you're right now that they're absolute weakers, so we have to go off, and if at the end they turn it around, you just tip your hat and then you get to your shoes as footage. That is the law of equivalence in so give me some reasons why, though, because I know what you mean when you say that. By the way, it's very technical.
Yeah.
They kind of have lost. It's not just players. The magic of G2 is gone, right? That feeling of like they'll win no matter what, it doesn't exist. You can tell even other players don't think so. So what are you thinking of when you say that?
I mean, for me, I'm still very high on Skumont. I think like the thing they do with like scouting their rookie junglers, like I think they have always doing an incredibly good job. For me, I obviously like it's not like it's probably known right now. I think Caps is having one of his weaker years so far. Sure, he's had some standout games, but like his overall average floor and baseline has been not what many people have had expected. I think, for example, last year there were weeks or series where Caps had weaker performances. Like I can think, for example, it was their summer final game against the Mad Lions Koi at the time, where he was just like not performing very well. But overall, like at the end, still G2 as a concept as a whole last year was still like a staple to be reckoned with. You know, like it was like it was a powerhouse still. But this year, I am not high on Labrov at all. I used to historically actually be quite high on Labrov, but at this point, like I just don't really see it anymore. I'm just like not really a fan. And I think even BB Caps and Hansama, all of them are like with their historical like ceilings and like their general performance, like I'm just disappointed because I expect way more of these players. I'm not just saying like these players are washed up. Like there have been games, you know, where these players still have stand-up performances, but like if you look at G2 in the Spain Roadshow, for example, in their series against the Giant X against the Koi, like even like I saw a tweet about that recently about like their whole, I think it was Vega V2, about the finesse they had in draft and like the creativity and the spots they had. Like even right now, I feel like that's not really like the edge they have anymore either. So I mean, I'm historically still a massive G2 fan, and like I hope they get it together. But at this point, I don't really see it. You know, like I fear the worst for them.
I mean, it's very brave to make that take right before playoffs.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm about to shoot myself in the foot here, but
I love it.
But no. I mean, let's be clear, right? They haven't been good this split. Again, I will put on the mitigating circumstances hat. Which is that they played half their games four-fifths of their games this season on the road, which is in a sense even more concerning, right? Because you're playing in front of a live audience, and instead of that hyping you up, it seems to like make you retreat into your shell, which is scary. Like that is really, really scary. But yeah, Labrov is a guy who was, to me, he was either the best or the second best supporter in the league last year, right? On BDS, and this year he's just looked like a shadow of himself. You know, he's making mistakes that he wasn't making last year. It feels like he was the main voice on or one of the main voices on BDS, and now he's like a third or fourth voice on G2, and he hasn't fit well into that role. You know, I feel that Skumont has had some good signs. Also run it down a bit, but has had some good games. Caps have been really inconsistent. BB, compared to even Winter Split, he's just been really, really rough this split compared to last split. So it's not looking good for G2. Yeah, I would put this as their second worst roster. Like there is one roster with I think it was 2022, the one with Reckless, right?
No, 2021 was the Reckless one.
2021, which was pretty awful, but this one
they were still like top of the league though. You know,
yeah, they were still top of the league.
At the end they failed.
Third and fourth.
It was just at the end they failed, mate.
The second and fourth, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm with you on this. But let's see how they do in playoffs. You know, like maybe this is a team that likes it when the crowd is cheering for them, right? Which is not a good thing for G2 because G2 have typically thrived when the crowd is cheering against them, and like they've really enjoyed playing into that heel role as an organization. But yeah, I don't see any creativity. I don't see any like they can't bully teams in the same way that they used to bully them in the past, and steal their lunch money because nobody's taking it anymore, right? So yeah.
Go on.
Wasn't it also KC had the chance to choose MKoi or G2, right, for their upper bracket rival? I think that you choose between both, and they ended up choosing Koi. So like, I think like Koi has had shaky games over the split too. Like that's not a secret either. But it's like still an indication that KC still would rather still dodge G2 in playoffs. Like I understand this team historically has gotten it together, right? They have, but. Like based off right now, all the like the samples we have of this split, there also like the thing is, it's not like they had like a bad best of one regular season. They're playing best of three fearless games where we expect a team of these veterans actually to stand out, and yeah, it's just disappointing. Like I mean, I also agree that like historically I've been quite high on Labrov, like mega solo queue grinder. Always like top 10 on the ladder very often, but even I think right now like he's not that high in solo queue if I recall correctly. I don't think I've seen him like top 10 one last year. He was like mega high on ladder all year, and maybe it's one of those players like when his communication role and his role in the team shift, like his performance drops. This historically has happened to some players, but I just don't see it right now.
By the way, that's also one angle I have as well, which goes. Even when I'll even give you some copium. That's some pure G2 hater copium. Here you go. The reason why I think Karmine Corp chose MKoi and not G2 is actually the opposite. I don't think it was them going, well, we've got to give credit to G2 still. They're good. I actually think for real, it's a mind game that if you think about it, as of right this moment, the only thing left that can actually beat Fnatic isn't Karmine Corp. It's actually the fucking G2 logo. That's all they're losing to at the moment. And I actually think it's the last fucking, like, just try that. Fucking put them against G2. They somehow always inexplicably lose to them. I think that's almost why you picked it. Because, like, put it this way, if you had to say when would be the most likely point for Fnatic to fuck up, it would be like if in the first round they play G2 and then Caps goes off and then Humanoid did all the PTSD, fucking bring back that meme of that dog looking at those cakes. It was like, the famous one everyone used to post on the internet. Like, but it's just copium, guys. Like that. I'm sorry, even though everyone said this a million times for Fnatic, I think that is done. I think Fnatic just is the best team. I think, by the way, what will show you that the magic is gone is this series here, because traditionally, you're right, that should be the bogeyman. No, it isn't going to be the case. I actually think this time round, there's a world Fnatic just even just sweep them, mate. Just like 3-0 them. Like, that's totally plausible. And I definitely agree. I think you've nailed it best. It's not even like that. Notice what we haven't said is that, like, the GM fucked up on G2. No, I actually totally understand why they GM'd all these moves. In isolation, I don't think any of the moves were bad moves. I just think it hasn't worked out like they hoped it would. And the worst part is what you said at the beginning, that they don't have the magic. It's not they don't have good players. They still have good players, except for Labrov. I think almost every player, in theory, could still be top 3 or top 4 his role, depending on what you're talking. In fact, I'd even say the controversial take is I think Skumond might still actually just be the best jungler or the second best jungler. Like, he's actually having an awesome time. The problem is the team is just a Skumond team that plays his style. And at the moment, he's one of the players that has the problem under pressure on the big live games and on stage, and that's another thing. The old G2, that's when the power spike would be activated, as if you put them in front of the crowd. This one, I'm with you. They've looked half as good in front of the crowd, and all of it. Like I said it on the past episode, I do not believe there's any world they would have lost that GX game in a studio. I think they would have just won that one, mate. But the way that you could see the difference on their faces, even when they played in the live crowd, and crucially, that's it. It's like the magic or the chemistry isn't like past G2 lineups, which is, by the way, I will say this: if you're the GM, I can't blame you for that. It's impossible to know the chemistry until the lineup actually plays. It's why that whole topic that we all use in the off seasons of like upgrade and that's not even a real thing. Like, it's only from the outside we can say that. There are players who are like weak players mechanically who sometimes add way more to a team. You just don't know the chemistry of what they're doing behind the scenes or what they bring to the comms even, or when they get. And by the way, the Labrov one is also a really tricky one, because I agree. It's really easy now in hindsight to go, hey, he was a big fish in a small pond in BDS and everything was the way he wanted it, but now that he's like further down the pecking order, he's not as good in G2. The problem with that is, what did we all say when he was in BDS? Like, get this man a real team, get him off this squad, put him on Fnatic or G2 and they'll win the league. Like, that's just the nature of the league, I'm afraid. That's what always happens when you're an outsider and you don't really know the dynamics of what you're doing inside the team. Because I have to say, as of right this moment, this will be a weird angle and it is biased, but I am a biased individual. It's a fucking opinion show. I actually think Labrov in G2 now is another fucking check mark against Striker from BDS's coaching record. This guy's the Labrov whiffs from it. No one's ever gotten that performance out of Labrov ever in his whole career. That's what this. Remember, this guy came in a million years ago too, by the way. He was in that Vitality with Comp 1 billion fucking years ago. He was in loads of different teams, and for most of his career, he was another person everyone said, oh, it's Grims, he's amazing. Oh, you should see how good this player is. Look at him on solo queue. And then you never saw it in the LEC, and I used to think, why do people gaslight me? But then when I saw him in BDS, I was like, fuck, this guy's the truth. Like, this is the shit. Like, look how, but it's only ever been in that BDS lineup I've ever seen that, I'm afraid. In this team, he's just been whatever. So I agree. It's just gone. You even ask this. This is a crazy point right now. First of all, here's how you know when Caps isn't having a good year. Oh, no one will ever come out and say Caps is having a bad year. They just don't say Caps is the hands down best player in the league. Who's number 2? That he's not even in those discussions anymore, boys. When we have the discussions about upset and Callisto MB, why does no one ever put Caps' name in there? Because for Caps, this is a fucking mid-ass year, mate. Like, this reminds me of that like early 2022 where it was looking whack and everyone thought like Fnatic would win the fucking league when they had like the humanoid Razork lineup the first time around. And Caps had that like really underwhelming start to the year before he started cooking. The solos of G2 aren't bad, but they don't even have the best solo laners in the league. I don't even know that they would. Like, wouldn't everyone say Kami Corpse is better right now? I would say this. Here's the problem for G2. They don't have, as far as I can tell, one strength above anyone in any area of the game. You even nailed it on the drafting, by the way. We all thought the same thing. Bro, hey, watch out, guys. It's Fearless Draft. Dylan Falco's playground. He hasn't even got a chance to play. If anything, all the past years, he had the best teams ever for this format. This year, he has the team that doesn't even make sense in that format. Like, I actually think Fearless is worse for him right now. I think, if anything, he'd be better off having normal meta, and then every now and then Broken Blade pops a cheeky weird picking or something like that, you know, like, it's actually not working to do the fucking Fearless Draft. This is the one year, sadly, you probably didn't want Dylan Falco cooking in the Fearless Draft, because actually they've gotten cooked in some of these fucking drafts, quite frankly. So no, I'm with you. I think it's really sad too, because even though, again, pause, obviously now they could just magically turn it around and win. I don't think they will though, boys. I think that is done. We're not actually going to be in that video I just described earlier on social media where that G2 LOL account's laughing at all our faces and all the fans like, ha, it's badly. Yes, Peter Dunn, that's why you're not in the LEC anymore. Not that anymore. That's not even going to happen. Much like a Caps did, it will be forgotten that we were totally right about all this.
Yep, that's how it is.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.